Unfortunately, Han Myung-o's words didn't continue. Han Myung-o was knocked unconscious because he received a penalty from disclosing some of the details of his contract with Asmodeus. I felt a bit sad because it was broken off at the exciting part. Kim Dokja thought, in any case, the demon kings and constellations have started to show interest in the world. The land of the abandoned scenarios, the demon world. This world, which had long been shunned by the constellations, was starting to receive attention again. Humans can't beat them. Compared to them, we're just insignificant bugs. Han Myung-o had said this several times. He had been in the demon world for several months, so he was well aware of the strength of the senior nobles and demon kings. This despair was understandable. In fact, even the early mid-Yu Jung-hyuk had struggled in the demon world. Of course, that was Yu Jung-hyuk's story. I was different. My stomach started growling because I had stayed awake all night. I headed to the pub and asked Mark to cook some simple dishes. Jang Hayoung was sitting absent-mindedly at a table. I quickly approached him and sat down. You say that every time. Jang Hayoung stared at me with an ugly expression and screamed, What is it? What? What other issue are you coming to create? Why are you so grouchy? Never mind. Why? What happened? Jang Hayoung couldn't easily answer my question and stared at the plate in front of him. I knew that I couldn't urge him and just waited. Mark glanced between Jang Hayoung and I. It was unknown what he was thinking, but he suddenly winked. After a while, Jang Hayoung opened his mouth. Why did you let me join the Revolutionary Army? What? I'm not a guardian or a revolutionary. I'm not the chairman of the civil council like Eileen. The character Jang Hayoung has used lethargy, level 4. The character Jang Hayoung has used self-loathing, level 10. Damn, it was starting. I'd forgotten for a while. If Yu Jung-hyuk suffered from the regression depression, then this person suffered from a thorough self-loathing. I didn't think there were any main characters of Ways of Survival who were sane. The small shoulders quivered. I would feel better if I hit him on the shoulder, but it would be hard for him to feel comforted. Your understanding of the character Jang Hayoung has increased. Jang Hayoung stared out the window. He seemed to be looking at Eileen, who was cleaning up the previous incident. Jang Hayoung spoke again. Night will come again. Will you still be able to protect the people? Maybe not, I answered honestly. I don't know all the executioners. It's impossible to catch all of them before tomorrow's night. There were 7 executioners who hadn't been caught. If those 7 people made up their minds and started attacking people, tomorrow night would be a bloody festival. I added before Jang Hayoung could fall into despair, There's no other way to stop it. We must find the fighter. The fighter. It was the only position that could deal with an executioner during the night. If I could find that position, it wouldn't be unreasonable to restore the atmosphere. However, Mark interrupted from where he was cooking. I'm sorry, but there probably won't be a fighter. What? Mark, how do you know this? There's no one from the old generation to pass on the skills of a fighter. Unlike other positions, a fighter could only receive the position through succession. Mark kept speaking. After the fighter died, protecting the former revolutionary, there was no successor. I already knew this information. In fact, there was no fighter in this industrial complex. In the original novel, Yu Jung-hyuk had been very confused by this. I bit into the sandwich that Mark gave me. If there isn't a successor, then we have to create one, inherit the position from another fighter. As far as I know, there are no fighters left in the 73rd Demon Realm. I'm not going to find them in the demon world. What? I glanced at Jang Hayoung. Now was the time. I spoke to the blank-looking Jang Hayoung. Hey, talk to the wall. What does that mean? You have a wall. Every time you try to learn something, that wall blocks you. How do you know about the wall? The startled Jang Hayoung stared at me. There are ways for me to know, I smirked and replied. Other people might not know it, but Jang Hayoung had a wall. To be precise, it was a wall called the Unidentified wall. This wall had been blocking Jang Hayoung's growth so far. Isn't it because of the wall that you never learned any skills? That's why you're like this, lethargic, self-loathing. What? I know you think it's a wall of talent. However, it isn't a wall of talent. It has a different purpose. No, how do you? In any case, quickly talk to it. You can communicate with that wall. Jang Hayoung's face turned red after hearing that he could talk to the wall. I wanted to tell him not to worry. After all, I was in the same boat in regards of talking to a wall. Jang Hayoung hesitated before slowly opening his mouth. That... Quickly! A moment passed before Jang Hayoung triggered the skill. The character Jang Hayoung has used Unidentified Wall Level 1. Jang Hayoung's pupils were white. It wasn't visible to me, but perhaps in Jang Hayoung's vision, he would be surrounded by a white wall. A pure white wall with nothing written on it. It wasn't strange for Jang Hayoung to get a mental illness if he was blocked by such a wall every time he had to learn a skill. Jang Hayoung carefully opened his mouth. Excuse me? Wall name? Surprisingly, I also heard a message the moment Jang Hayoung spoke. The unidentified wall is giving off a wrinkled impression. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I had a similar wall. Either way, it was good. The unidentified wall is looking at its master. The unidentified wall says, "You aren't qualified yet." As expected, it was just as petulant as the original novel. I was prepared. Hey, don't do that and give your permission. If you don't help, your kid will die. Jang Hayoung was surprised by my sudden words and stared at me. The next moment, the unidentified wall spoke. The unidentified wall says, "Who are you?" The unidentified wall says, "How can you hear my voice?" It isn't important who I am. Just give your permission. If this is level 1, can't he use the minimum of features? Why are you blocking him? The unidentified wall is frowning. It was angry at my words, and sparks appeared around Jang Hayoung. The probability was putting a pressure on me, a constellation. Myth-rated attributes were truly different. This wouldn't be as easy as I expected. I stepped back from Jang Hayoung. The sparks that suddenly appeared in the air surprised Mark and the other pub customers. Once I had them evacuated, I opened my mouth again. Are you going to keep acting like this? It isn't good for you. Won't you have to find a new host if he dies? The sparks of probability once again appeared. It was a measure of Jang Hayoung's strong potential that he could create such a force with the power of a single skill despite not being a constellation. Thus, I needed to awaken Jang Hayoung here. The unidentified wall says, "You are impudent." The sparks that burst from Jang Hayoung's body became increasingly intense. I was a bit baffled because I didn't know the reaction would be to this extent. It happened the moment I thought a small probability storm would occur here. The exclusive skill, Fourth Wall, is strongly activated. The sparks around me calmed down at once. To be exact, a larger spark seemed to have swallowed the surrounding sparks. The fourth wall greets the unidentified wall. The unidentified wall is surprised. I was also shocked. The walls could converse with each other? The fourth wall greets the unidentified wall with pleasure. Jang Hayoung's face was turning reddish-white. He clearly was seeing this scene. The fourth wall opened its mouth. Friend! The unidentified wall is starting to shake. I didn't know about the communication between the walls, but by just saying hello, the air around Jang Hayoung started to distort into a mysterious form. The unidentified wall says, "You! What are you?" The air around me shook faintly. The fourth wall was moving in a form different than usual. I couldn't express it well. One thing was clear. It seemed to be angry. The unidentified wall is complaining about the pain. The unidentified wall is complaining about the pain. The unidentified wall is complaining about the pain. There were brilliant sparks as Jang Hayoung grabbed his head and screamed. How much time passed? There was a heavy feeling, and the unidentified wall sent a message. The unidentified wall says, "Who are you?" Honestly, I had no idea why Jang Hayoung had such a wall. Ways of Survival didn't exactly explain what the identified wall was. I thought it would mention it in the ending, but of course, this didn't mean it was impossible to predict the identity of this wall. The existence of this wall was presumably related to Jang Hayoung's job before he moved dimensions. This is the first time I've seen it. Jang Hayoung was staring into the air with a very perplexed expression. The unidentified wall has recognized its master as the incarnation Jang Hayoung. It was a complicated procedure, but with the help of the fourth wall, Jang Hayoung succeeded in being acknowledged by the unidentified wall. Then, a new window popped up in front of Jang Hayoung for the very first time. Enter the modifier or name of the presence you want to send a message to. Thanks to the fourth wall, I also saw the message. Jang Hayoung stared at me. What is this? What should I enter? In fact, it was because of this ability that I had to bring Jang Hayoung with me. I had to borrow the wall's strength through Jang Hayoung so that I could have the power to fight against those fucking nebula. Please enter the names I will tell you. Yes. I called out several names. They were all names of characters who had fought with fighters in the demon world in the original ways of survival. Then another window popped up. Please enter a message to send. What should I write? I want to become a fighter. Please help. Will it work? I don't know. Just try it first. Jang Hayoung sent the message. Then we waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Jang Hayoung asked, did I do it properly? I guess it failed. The damn Starstream had no consideration for newbies. I asked for help so earnestly, but no one sent a reply. We sent a few more messages. I'm looking for someone who will make me a fighter. I need the skill of a fighter. Please help. No matter how many times he sent the message, there was no reply. Maybe they thought it was a spam message and didn't answer. Damn. I had no talent for writing, so I didn't know what message I should send to get a reply. It would have been nice if Han Soo-young was here. She would have come up with a better idea. Jang Hayoung frowned and thought about something for a while. Then he opened his mouth. I need to get a reply. Can I write what I want? Have you thought of something? Jang Hayoung lightly nodded and typed his message. I am a 15-year-old schoolgirl. Hey, wait! Before I could stop him, Jang Hayoung pressed the send message button. The message was sent to random constellations because no recipient was entered. The message wasn't even sent to a particular person. I shouted in a frustrated manner, You're dealing with constellations. Did you think that would work? Just watch. What the hell did this guy eat? The next moment, a reply has arrived. We stared at each other with bemused expressions and confirmed the reply. To my surprise, the constellation who replied was someone I knew. Sender, Abyssal Black Flame Dragon.